And welcome back to the WGL APAC. Joining me this time is Elfish Guy, and I'm still Rogi. And we just had a game that went the way we predicted. It wasn't any crazy upsets.
The way you predicted, but not the way Alex predicted.
No, that's why he's been rotated out.
He's been ribbing me a little bit
He really has.
this week.
He really has.
You know, I think he's had a bit of confirmation
bias. The floor
bias.
is yours now,
you know,
Jordan.
He feels like he's got all these predictions right, but what he doesn't realize is that we're getting predictions right as well. So I think,
he gets one bold prediction right, and all of a sudden he's the master of the game.
You know.
He's the puppet master here and there.
Yeah.
But no, it was if you guys are wondering what us two blabbering idiots are going on about, it was Horsemen taking out Coalition Zoo 5-1, and it's been a crazy weekend so far. We've had a lot of weird games going each way, up, down, left, and right. So it's great to see a little bit of consistency coming out here in a game that we knew would be a bit one-sided. Going that way.
Well, we definitely thought it was going to be one-sided, and it was in the end one-sided as well. The consistency thing is still an issue, I feel, for Horsemen, because, you know, we've seen them get that win, but we've also seen them lose. So,
I know.
Anyway,
they're crazy.
Look, to be honest, not what we're here to talk about now. We've seen that match. We've already talked about it. What we're here to talk about is Caren Tiger and B Gaming, and this again is another one where you can bring up that consistency issue, especially for Caren Tiger, who have looked good, but also they've looked
Meltdown.
Shocking.
Yeah, that was such a far outlier, though, the game against Meltdown. Like, when Caren Tiger are looking shocking, you're looking at a 5-3 or a 5-2, but not a 5-1.
Yeah.
Especially against Meltdown, who have just been playing so average for so long, to come out and just, like, slap them down. It was crazy.
Yeah, well, I mean, last night as well against Dark Wolves, where they went down 5-2, like, who could have predicted that? Certainly none of us.
No. I know.
And even B Gaming, like, they have had some good wins, but they've had losses that we probably wouldn't have expected them to lose as well.
You're
so
right.
For me, this is, I guess, a bit more of a difficult one to predict. Coming into this week, we all kind of were feeling like, oh, okay, Caren Tiger's going to come in with this one. They're going to feel pretty comfortable.
It looked like a very good week for them.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
like,
week.
I predicted 5-1, Alex has predicted 5-2, and you predicted 5-0. All for Caren Tiger.
Yeah, this was again. I thought it was a very strong week for Caren Tiger coming into this. I didn't expect them to falter twice already. So, B Gaming though, still, I think it's possible for a 5-0. I think if Caren Tiger have reevaluated themselves and thought, alrighty, we can get back on form, we can come out swinging here, they can give us a 5-0. But Caren Tiger on your screen. Akio V, Mario, and Madame, just a few of their standout players who have not been standing too far out tonight, though. Yesterday, rather.
Yeah, for it to be a 5-0, Caren Tiger really need to have gone away from last night and really had a strong think about what happened, what went wrong, and how they can fix it. And I think that that's probably something that they would have done. I know they were certainly very disappointed with how things went. There was a little bit of venting going on Twitter from some of the players. So coming into tonight, I'm really expecting that they will have thought about what they need to do here against B Gaming, and they're going to want to come back and show us the old Caren Tiger.
Well, B Gaming, that's a team that we also want to see go back to a team of old. It's B Gaming here. Taki and Happiness, they've been playing pretty well. Otori as well, chucking in more a few games here. They've all been pulling their weight, but not at the same time, which is some of the fundamental issues that B Gaming are facing right now. When one player is playing well, the others aren't. So they're just not getting those rounded up numbers.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that, well, I guess really the only one on this roster that has been pretty consistent has been Yusa Shampower. He's, generally speaking, been doing pretty good work for B Gaming, but last night we did see him falter, or was it maybe the night before? Sometime this week we have seen him, drop off a little bit, and that did cause some issues for B Gaming. Coming into tonight, though, hopefully he's going to have a bit of a better performance. Looking at our matchup, though, it is going to be Polly and Super Hiroshi, the, I suppose, touted Batchat players for the two teams. They tend to find themselves in the Batchats more often than not. As you can see, their distance traveled is quite high compared to perhaps a lot of tankers that we would see coming out in the league. Still not reaching the heights of someone like Safi, though, but their average damage, it's actually a little bit more weighted in the favor of Super Hiroshi. I think Polly does take a bit more of a backseat in Caren Tiger.
I think
plays
so too.
A bit more of a supportive role. When you've got players like you, but when you've got players like Hellcry, those are the guys that you're wanting to see that do the damage. But Super Hiroshi Definitely does need to obviously step up for his team a little bit more than Polly necessarily needs to.
Now, a lot of statistics between those very similar, but like you mentioned, there's those big outliers: average damage, average penetration, all favoring in Super Hiroshi. So, BE Gaming, they got to look to these star players to really pull their weight and start turning things up. Otherwise, they're going to just fall victim to another loss tonight.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, again, it comes down to kind of the map pool that we see coming out between these two teams. To touch on it a little bit, I feel like obviously Caren Tiger in general have a bit of a stronger map pool. We'll see, I think, what BE Gaming is going to be vetoing out here. I think it's quite important for them probably to be getting rid of Ruhenberg, to be getting rid of Himmelsdorf. Those are the two maps that Caren Tiger are very, very strong on. So when we do see the map picks coming up, then I think we can discuss that a little bit more. But for me, that's what I'm looking for here from BE Gaming. And immediately, there you go. You see the Ruhenberg veto comes out, and smart. Himmelsdorf actually as well. Really good stuff from BE Gaming. So Prokhorovka, the first map pick from Caren Tiger. It's not a map that they're obviously uncomfortable on, but it is definitely a map that, you know, they're not as comfortable on as, say, Ruhenberg, as, say, Himmelsdorf. I'm actually surprised to see them not first picking Himmelsdorf there because it's not a great map for BE Gaming, but they've obviously seen something in it that they don't necessarily want to play on. BE Gaming have opted to go for steps there, which I think is probably a pretty reasonable decision.
Yeah, we've been seeing a lot of steps coming through.
Yeah, the only thing for me there about BE Gaming on steps is it's not necessarily one of their greatest maps.
Sure.
I think the thought process behind them picking that is that it's a little bit weaker of a map for Caren Tiger.
Of course, the second half of that one, you can see Mines being vetted out by Caren Tiger. Ghost Town and Muravenka with the last two getting locked in. And Ghost Town, good to see it back up on here. Caren Tiger looking a little bit this and that when it comes to it.
Yeah, I think it's, again, the same sort of a thought process from BE Gaming in picking Ghost Town as what we saw from Steps, where, again, it's a map which Caren Tiger have looked okay on, but they have had some struggles on it. They've looked backwards and forwards, hot and cold, up and down, whatever you want to say about it. It's not been a consistent map for Caren Tiger. So that's, I think, where BE Gaming is feeling like maybe they can find some sort of a round here. But it's still, it's saying that, not a bad map for Caren Tiger.
No, of course. It's just whether or not they're still reeling from last night. It's like you said, they're a little bit heated, getting to Twitter saying, next time we verse you guys, it's going to be a 5-0. No doubt.
Yeah. Well, we'll see whether or not that is going to be the case here, because that's the real question here for Caren Tiger. They need to bounce back. They need to come back from that defeat yesterday with a pretty strong win today here. And I think any of the predictions that we've made today would be a result that Caren Tiger would be happy with.
Yep.
But if they allow maybe 3 rounds to go to BE Gaming, then I think that's when they're probably going to feel like, okay, we probably haven't done quite enough here tonight to, you know, feel quite comfortable about how we've gone. So for me, when I look at these map pools, I think Prokhorovka should be a 2-0 there for Caren Tiger. Steps, I think, is probably where we might see BE Gaming get 1, so I'm going 1-1 on that one, and then Ghost Town to close it out there for Caren Tiger with a 2-0.
I think you've pretty accurate on those margins. We haven't seen teams being picking Prokhorovka at all this week, and it feels like it's maybe been one of the first times we've seen it as we're closing out the week. So wonder if there's something's changed in teams' preference to playing on Proc here.
Yeah, definitely is feeling a bit like we've had a bit of a change in the meta from last season to this season. I mean, Prokhorovka was up there among the top picks. I think Himmelsdorf last season was the most picked map, and then it might have been Prokhorovka.
Yeah.
But this season, it's definitely feeling like we're getting into
feels like Mines and Cliffs have been really springing up.
Yeah, and we've been seeing also a lot more Ruhenberg as well
course.
Because of Caren Tiger. They've been picking it a lot. Even Team Efficiency are quite happy to go on it, which to me last season, neither of those teams necessarily played that map all that much. Cliff for me is a good one, good that you mentioned, because to me that's not necessarily the most picked, but it's been definitely one of the most contested maps, I suppose. If it's not banned, it's very likely to be picked first or in the first sort of picks between the two teams. So either first ban or first pick, generally speaking, coming out from Cliff. And an interesting statistic about Cliff actually is that it is the only map in the pool so far that hasn't been left to the remaining map. So that means obviously the last team gets the pick. It counts as their pick technically, but it is the only map remaining in the pool between what they've vetoed out. So that's the only one that's actually managed to sneak through there without being the remaining map.
They don't want that to kind of be the decider. Should go all the way down, because one of those maps where you both want a chance to play on either attack or defense, not just have that one off to decide. But of course, first map coming into it is going to be Prokhorovka. Be interesting to see what these guys roll out with. We've seen Oods and S-Tanks kind of sneaking their way in here, having various success depending on the teams that utilize them well. But I'm not too sure how. I think Caren Tiger might play this, though.
Yeah, definitely. It's obviously quite a big, wide open map. So the UDES, the STRV, the Grill 15, all tanks that we are expecting to see coming out here tonight. Caren Tiger probably not so much with the STRV and the UDES. Even the Grill is not. It's not a tank that they tend to pick all that much. It's not like a staple of their composition. So we'll see whether or not they decided to go for it. It is going to be there for Caren Tiger. Actually, kind of surprised not to see it for B Gaming because we know how good of a player Yusha Power is in that Grill 15.
Yeah, he really does work. We'll have to see what he decides to pick up on the side of B Gaming.
It's an STRV, so probably going to be him in that, I'd imagine.
I'd wager. Of course, you can see Caren Tiger going for the artillery piece in the Lorraine on the offense.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I don't mind it because of the fact that there's so many heavy tanks here for B Gaming. Kranwagen, T125, IS-7, all reasonably easy targets for that Lorraine. Obviously, it's not going to be doing huge amounts of damage, you would think, but definitely possibilities here across the board for Opalisk. And, you know, I mean, we haven't seen a huge amount of Opalisk so far this season from Caren Tiger. He kind of is flitting in and out of the roster, but when he is in the roster, we do see Caren Tiger picking up a lot more artillery than what they do tend to do when they have another player in that position.
You can see T4 and Poly just going to be trading spots here. Neither one of them want to go for that aggressive, overly aggressive play, should I say. Essentially, especially rather, that Poly is in the Batshat and not a similar scouting tank to the RE251. Very detrimental should they lose that off the field.
Yeah.
But judging by the positioning of B Gaming, they seem to want to have a very forward defensive line set up around that 2 flag and the T4. Look and see if he's spotting anyone up on this cliff. And we know that Caren Tiger are just on the other side of there with all 7 tanks. Poly doing a very strange push-up by himself. And there's going to be the RE251 spotted. Madame gets the first shot, looking for another one. He might just go down here, and that's the price you pay for information.
Exactly. That's not a situation you want to find yourself in an RE251. Even if it was just a single Batshat, there was no way that he could win that trade, and the information that he gets is definitely not worth him losing his life there. So poor early start here for B Gaming. I mean, just kind of expected almost, given the fact that what's going on here. That was a little bit risky happened to us. But yeah, look, it's not too unexpected, really. We've seen B Gaming making a lot of strange errors, really, throughout this season. And that's just another one on the top there. I mean, yes, getting the information there is quite good for T4, but, like, you can't afford to just lose a tier 8 tank like that off the bat. I mean, the price he paid was not what it was worth.
Really wasn't, and we'll have to see how B Gaming can recuperate after that loss, because Caren Tiger, they've got to be feeling good about the initial pick, but remember, they do have the RDP, so they want to make sure to utilize that to its efficient, to its prime effectiveness here. It's moved up quite far with the rest of the team. They got Yupa, just kind of hanging around on the defense right now, making sure that no fast plays come in and take out the artillery piece. I want to just make sure that that stays safe for now. Colin's been spotted out. We'll have to see whether or not we...
It's going to be tough to pen Colin here. He's pretty much hull down, and now he's even more. So, obviously the turret of the T125 is very, very strong. Yeah. So, Caren Tiger just actually opting not to fire any shots in his direction, not give up their position, which I think is probably the correct decision. Was going to be lucky to penetrate him there at that point anyway.
They got a shot on him.
Yeah, now they're starting to get some shots in. I think well, Akio V pushing forward here is perhaps a bit of a mistake, really, from Caren Tiger. Like, they've got so many tanks firing in his direction. I mean, there's nothing that Tiltil Matil could do here. He does take a shot, I think, from the IS-7, actually. And we do need to see Caren Tiger actually trading out that SDRV.
Questionable. Very questionable. Just Akio V running out, lone soldiering it. Maybe... the rest of the team look like they're going to be following down. Halkuri making his way down from the top. He spotted out here. Tiltil getting in a better position. Rain down some more fire. The Grill 15 as well has been spotted, so this could be bad for Caren Tiger if B Gaming know how to approach it.
This could be bad for both teams. It's really hard to say who's coming out of this one with an advantage. Lots of trades going across, but have a look at that. Yusha Power. I think he might have got set on fire there as well, and he gets taken down. It's a 1-for-1 trade overall. Yupa actually going down. That's a crucial kill there for B Gaming. But Caren Tiger, I feel like, might have a slight advantage here, even though the health is just sort of filtering away for them.
Well, it depends on if they can capitalize on Hellkura, who's very far out of position. Shinozaka in his Kranwagen. I wonder how many shells he has left in the chamber. Enough to send Hellkura running for the hills. Taki gets a big shot straight in the front.
Need to see something a little bit more from Opalisk, though, in that Lorraine, because so far we haven't seen anything too impressive. Oh! There you go. Shinozaka.
Words,
and
mate.
Mordame cleans things up.
Ouch.
Yeah, that's one way to put it, I think.
Huge
Speak
shot.
of the devil and he shall appear. I think that's
it.
a fitting thing to, I guess, analogize with an artillery piece.
Yep. Just curious. When's Opalisk going to pop off here? Just like that, he does. Tiltil has rotated to a more safe position on the train tracks here. Knows that they've given up quite a lot of the map over to Caren Tiger.
Well, we do see a push coming up here from the hill as well for B Gaming, right in the direction of Nadeko in that Grill 15. So I dare say whoever it is actually up on that hill probably doesn't want to be up there too much longer. Nadeko does actually fire a shot and miss, and that's going to give an opening for that bat chat.
Go for it. Is he going to do anything more happen? There's still 3 shells left in the chamber. I think he's second-guessing himself. No, he's just maybe double-backing for it.
Oh, just doesn't quite have the gun depression there.
Oh, they're getting some shots onto Happiness. Nah.
Yeah, I think he hit it. Unless someone else got a shot in there as well. But now Nadeko's really in trouble. He needs some backup from his teammates. And he's just going to go for a slippery dip, a slippery slide around down the hill, but I don't think he's going to be surviving here. He's
dodging shots left, right, and center. He's got another shell in the chamber. If he can go for a shot onto Happiness, but it's not going to matter as Opalisk takes him out. The long-range buddies looking after one another.
Opalisk is just doing so much work here in that artillery for Caren Tiger right now. That's the second massive
Polly.
shot that we've seen him pick up, and that is right. Here comes Polly indeed.
He's going to go for the 1v1 on to Colin at the moment, getting just behind the rotation of the tank. This should be a very easy pickup here.
Yep.
Gets that without taking a single shot in
He's
response.
got one more as well to deal with Taki.
He only needs one. Taki just around the corner. Should be an easy pickings here. See you later. Polly finds 2, and Caren Tiger find the first win of the series.
Well, not quite yet, but eventually they will get there.
I think they found it. They just got to go and pick it up.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of a game of hot and cold at the moment, and well, they're getting warmer.
Tiltil Matil in the S tank last tank alive for the side of B Gaming. Not really the one you want left alive to clutch in a 1v4.
No.
We saw Odysseus do a very valiant attempt in the series before, but this time the circumstances are very different.
Very, very different. And like, I mean, the STRV is actually not a bad tank for 1vx situations, but I don't think it's necessarily relevant in the WGL format. In pubs, sure, you can abuse the mechanics of the spotting and the camo. It has excellent camo. It's got a very fast tank. It has quite a lot of DPM, so it's kind of got almost everything you would want out of a tank that could clutch a game out, maybe with the exception of a turret to make things just a little bit easier. But obviously here in WGL, I think the situation is quite a lot different. An STRV is really, you'd want a bat chat or you'd want something like that as opposed to an STRV. It can just be shut down a little bit too easily by these players that know how to play around those mechanics. So not much of a chance here for Tiltil to do all that much in the STRV. Yeah, he might be able to get a reset here if he spots out some tanks, but realistically, it's only going to delay the inevitable.
Yep, gets a 390 shot onto Polly, but he gets set on fire and goes down. Kato finish him off. Great start for Caren Tiger to the series, taking the first half of Prokhorovka.
Yeah, very good start, albeit they did have some struggles towards the beginning. QOV was a little questionable, just running in there.
Yeah, that was a very head-scratch moment where you're thinking, did he accidentally just, drop his foot on the accelerator, couldn't get it off, something like that?
I feel like he was there to get information. He had to push forward and he had to figure out where some of those tanks were, but they probably just weren't expecting that many B Gaming tanks to be there. Sure. And they certainly didn't expect him to go down that quickly. There's no way you'd send a tank in just to die like that. So, maybe a little bit of a misread on the situation from Caren Tiger, but in the end, didn't necessarily impact him all that much. I think off the back of some very nice shots from Opalisk. When we have a look at the post-battle stats, we'll definitely see, I think that he's really put in a lot of work there for Caren Tiger.
Two huge shells into pretty much turn the tide of the fight.
Yeah.
And I'm sure here we're going to see, this is what we're talking about, the orange. It just went under the break.
Yeah, I just feel like maybe they didn't expect the STRV up in that position, which is a little bit questionable because that is one of the few positions really that the STRV is going to be on Prokhorovka, but nonetheless, things worked out okay for Caren Tiger, so I guess let's not harp on about it all that much.
No, big game, they still have a few chances left in this game. before it's done and dusted, and I'm sure they will have no trouble showing us a
Holy
competitive
dooly.
series, and that's what you want out of your artillery piece.
Well, that's more than what you want, really. 3.3k coming out from your Tier 8 tank. That is a very, very good performance there from Opalisk.
Oh, yeah.
RNG was with him, so to speak, and of course the bat chats on Caren Tiger there. Just giving him a nice bit of backup. 2.3 for Polly, 2.1 for Mordame. And I mean, Hellcry didn't get all that much done. Also, we didn't see Yupa doing all that much for Caren Tiger, but good to see that when Hellcry and Yupa aren't on necessarily, there are a couple of other players in this lineup that can step up.
And that's what they need to do, because if they keep just faltering time and time again without the correct backup, essentially, from their squad members, then they're just going to fall again, and it's something I'm sick of seeing. I really want to see these games go to the full competitive strides that we're used to seeing of these two teams. Back in the days of old, these two were two of the most competitive when they would take to the battlefield.
Yeah, it certainly was. And it was, generally speaking, a very, very good series when these two teams played. It was 5-4, 5-4 between them last season, if I remember correctly, both in the favor of Caren Tiger, actually. But there's one thing to note there on that damage roster is that Yusa Shampower down in the IS-7 didn't get all that much damage done. I've spoken so highly of Yusa Shampower in the last couple of weeks, but certainly this week, things don't seem to be working out so well for him. And having him in the IS-7, to me, just feels like a waste, right? I want to see, you know, the top damage dealer in the WGL APAC in a tank like a Batchat, in a tank like a Grill, that can do damage, that can really carry the game. An IS-7, you know, it's not a bad tank, but it's not a tank that's going to single-handedly carry the game.
No, I think you're right, and there's definitely reason for Yusa Shampower's praise. Like you mentioned, top damage dealer. It's not a stat you can get by half-assing your gameplay. So if you're just putting him in an average tank that's not going to excel, that's just going to sit there and do its job, then you're just sitting on wasted potential. So, coming into the next game, I do want to see B Gaming follow this wisdom you've bestowed upon us, Jordan. And,
Wisdom.
Yeah, put Yusa Shampower in a stronger tank.
Yeah. Well, I hope to see that as well on the attack here for B Gaming. I really want to see him in a Grill 15. He always finds a way to get work done on the attack.
Does.
My ideal situation here for B Gaming would be just push towards that Western flag, get an IS-7 or an IU on towards the flag, even a 1390, but more likely we're going to see an IU coming out here on Prokhorovka. Regardless, get a tank on that flag. Any of those three would work. Get Yusa Shampower in a Grill 15, back up in that little sniping spot that we always see the TDs in, and just let him go nuts.
Look, and we mentioned that when we were discussing these games earlier, doing our research, we thought this is a map that B Gaming can win. If it's Muravanka or Prokhorovka, they're in with a shot. Like you mentioned, on the attack, Yusa Shampower gets himself on that grill. Things can happen. He can light them up. He can get the huge damage numbers up. It's just whether or not that B Gaming are in the right frame of mind, or will be rolling with those strategies to allow him to do so.
Yeah, I think one thing to take away here, at least for B Gaming, is that they are very good on the attack of Prokhorovka. So far, at least coming into this week, they had like a 71% win rate on the attack of Prokhorovka, whereas they had a 29% win rate on the defense of Prokhorovka. So they've gotten their defense out of the way. You know, they lost that, which is, I suppose, a little bit expected, to be honest. But now coming into the attacking side here, this is where they need to step up. This is where they need to find a round. And Caren Tiger are going to hope that they're not going to allow that to happen. But definitely, statistically speaking, it's looking like it's a very real possibility, considering Caren Tiger's weaker side is their defensive side as well. Yeah,
and if I'm sure B Gaming, they've done their research as well. They should be able to identify this. The information's all there, available to them. All they have to do is pick up a keyboard and do some Excel spreadsheets, get the numbers down, crunch the facts, and that's what you do, Jordan. You always get us the prime numbers.
That's me. I like the stats. I like the spreadsheets. That's my jam, I suppose. But you know, hopefully my prediction is going to be right here, in that I think that B Gaming potentially can get the round. Although, admittedly, initially I did say Prokhorovka was a 2-0 to Caren Tiger. I'm going to stick by that because I thought that performance wasn't too great from B Gaming.
That was shaky.
But of these two rounds, this one here coming up is more likely going to be a win for B Gaming than the previous was.
Well, keep in mind that round did go very pear-shaped for B Gaming when the Artie just went off and got nearly 4k damage in just a few hits. So you got to pay your respects there to, of course, Opalisk, just being a master on it. That shot he got on the Batchat that was just chasing down the grill was a
very, very good shot. I definitely think that we're going to have to look to Opalisk here to see whether or not he's going to be able to perform similarly in this round, but
I see a grill.
Yeah, I do see a grill. I also see an STRV, and I see an IS-7 and a 113. So I think that B Gaming, you know, they probably are looking towards that Western flag. Although, I mean, a Gruul could go up on towards the hill, and SCRV can go up on the hill as well. So maybe a little bit too early. Don't want to jump the gun here. Caren Tiger, though, a very, very light lineup. We're going to see a lot of mobility from them. We're going to see them rotating around the map a lot, trying to get I suppose, beneficial engage for them. They can't really take a head-on fight here against an IS-7 and a 113, not to mention a Grill and an SCRV. So they need to find someone, they need to catch them off, they need to slowly take the advantages that way.
The lone RU251, he's got his mission, and it's to scout the opposing B Gaming lineup, but he's not going to run into anyone going down this route, but he does have a little bit of a backup here. The squad just escorting him down to that one line. T4 actually gets spotted out here in his own, so he's going to have to book it out of there, but Polly still remaining hidden in the fog of war.
Yeah, interesting that T4 got spotted out there, but he wasn't able to spot anyone else out. But regardless, B Gaming are going to get a little bit of information just due to the fact that T4 did get spotted, and now they're starting to set up over on this eastern side of the map, actually. Interesting. I thought they were going to head over towards the western side of the map with this composition, but they've decided that 2 flag is where they want to attack.
All right, B Gaming, they're down 1-0 at the moment, but they're on the attack. They have the opportunity to make themselves a comeback happen. We see Usashan Power on the grill. They've got all the tools that they need to make it happen, but I want to hear them use those tools. So let's jump on in with a listen in with the B Gaming squad.
動いた方がいいでしょ。
うん、ジスさんも動いて。
1さんが出すとしたらここ？
ああ、そっちだね。こっちは別に敵いなかったから。
はいはい。
この辺まででいいよ、とりあえずは。です。セブンとかがこっちまで上がったようだったらこっち行ってもらっていい。
これだ。
越えてもらっていい、そのまま。
ここでバレ
いいよ
ーますよ。
撃てるあれ。
燃えた。左左出た。3枚いる、3枚いる。下2枚。
オッケーオッケーオッケー。
もうそっちよりよ。
あ、いいよ、言っていい。
さあ、バチャッと STRB。
STRB で。
A0、A0。
もうバッ
オッケーオッケーオッケー。
あれやんなきゃだよな、バット。うん。
うん。
打ち終わってるから。
2枚とも行くよね。
あ、いいよ。来ていいよ。俺がそのまま A0 走るわ。
Colin taking a little bit of a page out of Akiov's book, just running straight down the line.
He got a lot of information though. You could hear him yelling out, backchat, STRV, A0. So
and then a lot of we heard after the death.
Yeah, I mean, not much that he could do about it. Like he essentially has done his job there. He's gone in.
Yeah,
yes, he died. He didn't do any damage, but he got the crucial information for B Gaming, and now it's up to the rest of the B Gaming players to make use of it.
You got to remember, if he turns around, he's got to take that damage, the same amount of damage, maybe a little bit less than survive, but he's not going to get the spotting out. He's not going to get the information, like you said. He was relaying it back to the troops. Oh, we're seeing a little bit of a sumo fight here. Polly, what are you doing, mate? You just keep until We're going anywhere.
I think what he was trying to do there is just knock the STRV up so that he couldn't get
move.
shots onto Mordame, because the elevation of the STRV, obviously the tank impacts the elevation, and he couldn't get shots onto Mordame. As a result, Mordame survives a little bit longer. That's actually genius from Polly.
Look, I really hope that we're not giving him more credit than he's worth, because that was if he did that, that was sick. And that's just heads-up play, utilizing the geometry of the tanks. But B Gaming, unfortunately, they find themselves down a tank, down a lot. RU251 up on the hill. He's very, very close. Maru going to be spotted out here. That's going to be Q for T4 to back on up into the shrubbery.
Yeah, but Maru, obviously, in this kind of a matchup, is going to be a lot stronger. Oh, Usashan Power, do not fall down there. It's going to be a very, very long rotate to get back up into the fight.
He'll just pole vault back up.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, I mean, who knows? Who knows? What crazy strategies the Grill has.
If they're imposing a strategy to elevate their S-tank to not shoot, then I want to see him pole vault in the grill.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the
obviously
gun
one's possible and one's not.
Yeah, the gun doesn't have a collision model. I sometimes wonder what this game would be like if the gun had a collision model. Like, you couldn't turn it through.
Can you just
tanks,
imagine going past that like
that hill, and you just like flip your tank because you touch the gun into the ground. I don't know. It would be interesting.
It would make fails of the week
like,
more interesting. I'll tell you that much.
Make April Fools like one day of a year have the gun have like a collision model. I think that would be really fun. Maybe
sword
very,
fight
very infuriating.
Sword fight with the grills.
Yeah.
Trying to knock each other over.
Yeah, that would be cool. Wargaming, please.
Well, Caren Tiger, they have all the tools they need to take out B Gaming here. 5 tanks alive on the field. They just got to find and surgically remove tank by tank of B Gaming, because the last thing they want to do is go into a head-on fight. But T4, he's been behind enemy lines for quite a while. He was basically breathing the same air as Maru as one stage and not getting spotted out.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to be out, though, relatively safely. I don't think he'll get spotted here. Maybe AKOV might spot him, but even if he does, like, it's not going to be a big deal there for T4. The main concern here for B Gaming is that they don't have the tanks on the field, they don't have the HP, so this is just such a tough battle and crucial miss for Yusa Power.
Well, you hate to see it.
It was always going to be a really difficult shot to hit, but that could have been, you know, just the first step in getting them back into this one. But at a almost half HP deficit, like, it's almost impossible really here for B Gaming to come back into this.
Not looking good. They need to be hitting those huge grill shots to weaken the armor, but here comes the push. Happiness, Taki, and T4 going to be moving in onto Yupa, but Yupa, he's hitting the shots. Not much coming in return. Where's Hellkurai to help him out? Yupa's getting lower and lower, but Yusa Power goes down to the Kranwagen. Yupa does fall, but it's a tank for a tank. T4 now in the firing line. He's very low, 80 HP. He goes down to Hellkurai. 2 versus 4. B Gaming going to be coming out of Prokhorovka with a big fat 0. Caren Tiger, though, taking both rounds.
Yeah, definitely Caren Tiger looking very, very good on the defensive side here. Taking down that IS-7, none of them even got spotted. Yes, their positions were given away because Colin was able to figure out who was shooting him because of the damage markers coming out. But even still, like, no one from B Gaming could really trade it back.
Yeah, looks like it's going to be a pretty straightforward win for Caren Tiger. Unfortunately, the start of the round went pretty pear-shaped once Colin was caught out of position. He tried his best to do what he could, but just like AKOV in the prior round, he went down without a fight here. He's going to get blown up. See you later, Happiness. He goes down. Great stuff for Caren Tiger, leading the series 2-0. Come out of Prokhorovka.
Yep, and reasonably expected there.
Yeah.
Always thought going into that one that Caren Tiger was a very strong team on Prokhorovka. Not the strongest team, but they certainly know their way around that map. And
of course,
I guess B Gaming is going to be a little bit disappointed with that because they've been so good on Prokhorovka attack. But I mean, it is what it is. You know, there's nothing that they can do about it now. They have to focus in on what's coming up from now on. They need to put that behind them. And moving on to B Gaming's own picks, then you know they're going to feel a little bit more comfortable, perhaps on Steps, perhaps on Ghost Town. But we'll have to see how that plays out.
I feel like if they lose out on Steps, they really gotta. Ghost Town's gonna be the turning point for this game. I don't know how well they're gonna do against the Caren Tiger on Steps.
Yeah.
I feel like it's gonna be a bit one-sided, but Caren Tiger's Ghost Town has been looking incredibly weak recently, so I think that's where the turning point is if B Gaming getting it a few rounds here.
Yes, it has been looking weak recently, but you know, prior to that, it had looked like a very, very good map actually for Caren Tiger. So
yeah, you're right.
I think, you know, for me, it depends on which Caren Tiger really shows up tonight.
Yeah, of course.
You know, we could definitely see this go out to like a 5-3 or a 5-4 if Caren Tiger from last night shows up. But so far, from what we've seen from Caren Tiger, it definitely feels like it's back on the winning streak, back in the momentum. So I feel like Caren Tiger here tonight, they're probably not going to be dropping more than 1 or 2 rounds.
Yeah, I predict they're not going to drop around. So I think that they coming into Steps. I think that they're just the better team, and they know how to showcase it more. B Gaming. There's just so much wrong with this roster at the moment. I don't know where to start.
Yeah, there is a lot going wrong.
And it's actions like this. I know we saw AKOV do it, but it's...
Yeah, I don't think they really had any other option. Maybe you could argue they could have sent T4 in, but would it have been a different result? Probably not. But look at this. That was so good from Polly. Anyway,
That's good.
I'm pretty pleased with that from him. Anyway, Ndeko getting a lot of work done in the STRV. We typically do tend to see the STRV on the defense of Prokhorovka working out pretty well. So no real big surprises for that one. Batchat's up the top there. AKOV survived for quite a while as well, so he got a pretty decent amount of damage off. Can't complain really for Caren Tiger.
But you can't complain for B Gaming, unfortunately. They're just really struggling. Yusa Power finally getting on the grill, dealing some damage, but it's just not enough. These guys, they need to start working together as more of a cohesive unit. If you're going to be sending Colin out and he's taking the fire, where are the covering shots? Where are your members that are going to be looking for these line of sights. Where are the shells coming from? Where are the spots coming from? Do some damage, blind fire if you have to. Just do something. You can't just lose such a valuable tank for nothing.
Yeah, and I mean, he fired off a couple of shots, but really got no damage done.
Nothing.
Shinozaka as well in the 113, so both the heavy tanks there for B Gaming really not having a great day on Prokhorovka, or at least on the second half of it. And nor did really anyone else on B Gaming, to be fair. It was just a bit of a disappointing performance from them on that map, but Caren Tiger, as you said, starting off here with a 2-0, they're feeling pretty confident. I feel like even, you know, looking at these maps, a 5-1 is definitely a very real possibility, or a 5-0. So I think it really comes down to steps here, in my opinion.
It's how confident B Gaming on their own picks here, because they're going into this with we wanted steps. That's what we're going with. It's in their mind. They've definitely done some pre-thought here. They're a good team. We know that if all that they just have so many star players, but they're just not ever playing that level at the same time. So coming into steps, we've seen a few strange things happen. We've seen Horseman's crazy 7 autoloader strat. We've seen boosts left, right, and center.
Caren Tiger had that very interesting defensive setup as well with the IS-7 and the shield of the SU-14.
That's right, that's right.
My major concern really here for B Gaming coming into steps is that they don't look like a comfortable team on steps, at least this season. Definitely last season, they were quite good on it. Tiltil Matil, fantastic on the boost for them.
Beautiful.
But Tiltil Matil has moved into more of a tier 10 role, so what are we going to be seeing coming out from B Gaming here on the defensive side of steps is a bit of a wild card, I suppose, and even the attacking side. Like, we've only seen so far this season, or at least coming into this week, they'd only played this map once on each side, and they lost both those times. So Caren Tiger definitely has more experience on it, at least this season. I think they're coming into this one definitely with an advantage. The only reason I said that steps can probably be a 1-1 here is that it's not an excellent map for Caren Tiger. Their attacking side typically has looked pretty weak, so perhaps if B Gaming can really take advantage of that, then, you know, maybe there's something in it for them. But if Caren Tiger 2-0 this one, then I think it's a 5-0.
Yeah, I really think that they have the momentum going for them, coming off that clean win on Prokhorovka. They're back with a vengeance. They've got something to prove here. They, like you said, they got on Twitter last night. They were very disappointed in their results, and when you have that motivation to prove everyone wrong, to shut the haters up, your next opponent, they better watch out. And I feel like B Gaming, they're just the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, really. I mean, B Gaming, it's kind of been the story, really, of their entire season. They kind of almost always been in the wrong place at the wrong time. Like, every single time they come into a match, it just feels like things aren't working for them. It's not being a cohesive unit. And it's, again, I just keep going back to it, but so strange to see how from last season they were probably realistically the second best team in the region.
Such a fall from
grace.
grace.
Now they're, you know, I would say even maybe 7th, almost below Coalition Zoo. Like, that's a kind of a big call to make. I guess maybe they could be just a bit above Coalition Zoo. It's definitely 6 or 7 here at the moment for B Gaming.
Yeah, I know, and it always feels strange to say, considering, like you said, how much of a dominant force they were, being able to challenge EL Gaming on a good day. And now on a good day, they're lucky to get a few rounds of Caren Tiger. And today, it's not looking like a good day, let me tell you. It's looking like a poor one, based off their Prokhorovka rounds here. It's not looking like that cohesion. They're missing some of their... but at least the communication's there, right? At least at the... When we saw Colin going out and during their listening, he was able to get the communications. They all seem to be listening. They're all on the same page. It's just that they're running into these with a kind of poor battle plan, it seems.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, it's good, I think, at least here for Caren Tiger that they are going up against B Gaming, because when we were looking at this week as a whole for Caren Tiger, we kind of felt like, okay, this should be a pretty easy week for them. They should be able to get quite a few points on the board, but that loss to Dark Horse, you know, if they had have lost that and then they come up to face a good team tonight, Team Efficiency, EL Gaming, Horseman, maybe even Meltdown, then there could be some issues in this roster. But going up against a team like B Gaming, who definitely aren't performing this season, I think it's a nice little bit of a relaxation, I suppose, for Caren Tiger. They can calm down and they can come into this one. You know, obviously they're prepared a little bit better than they were yesterday, but it's time for them to, you know, just come back in and really show us what they're made of.
And this was B Gaming's best opportunity to take out Caren Tiger, because they're a wounded Tiger now coming in from that last series that they played yesterday, losing to Dark Wolves, an 8th place team here. So going against a 7th or 6th, you wouldn't think it's as much of a stretch after such a poor performance. But obviously that loss has just made them stronger, because they're really not showing any signs of weakness tonight.
Not yet, not yet. There was
We still got a long
yeah,
series
there was
to go.
some mishaps,
We
some
still got a long
mishaps.
series to go.
But definitely nothing, you know, horrible really for Caren Tiger. So hopefully they're going to be able to come into this second map here and I would say pull off the first round. I think if they can do that, they might be able to probably pull off the second as well. But if, yeah, well, I guess it's all conjecture at this point. You know, it's all theory. Yeah. So, you know, why don't we just get into the map and see how it goes, I think.
I think that's the best way to go about it. Without further ado, here are your tank picks. B Gaming once again going for that grill. They really want Shampao to shine tonight.
Yeah, well, they need him to shine. They really need him to be stepping up here. And again, he didn't really do all that much work on the second half of Prokhorovka, certainly not in the first half either in the IS-7. So now here with the grill, he's got the tools in his hands that he needs, and he just needs to execute it. And I think B Gaming need to enable that as well.
We're seeing a little bit of a boost here on the bat chat, and I do believe it was Alex saying just a series before you never see a bat chat on the boost on steps.
Very rarely, but it is possible to get the bat chat up there if you do give him a bit of a bump. And the Caren Tiger have certainly done that. He can't solo that climb though, so he needs to make sure he can get this second bit off.
Opolis spot him out, he does.
Opolis gets spotted out, Tiltamatil and use the Shampao there as well. I think Helkurai getting spotted out. He just has to hightail it off the boost. So a little unfortunate there for Caren Tiger not being able to get that bat chat up on the boost. I'm surprised that they actually don't put Opalisk up on the boost. I mean, I understand that a bat chat up on the boost is probably a bit more of a threat, but that does mean you don't have a bat chat down on the field to be using around the rest of the map. And when you're trying to get, you know, resets, spam resets on towards that one flag, if that were to be the case, the bat chat's certainly not as useful for that because it has an auto loader. But it does look like they've decided they're going to put Opalisk up there, and I think he's
the old bait and switch.
Yeah. Got me.
Oh, hopefully it gets B Gaming as well. Oh, he's sliding a little bit though.
He should be able to do this.
Gonna be tight.
He's too
It's
far
gonna
to
be
the
tight.
left. He needs to go around the side a little bit more. Yeah, there we go.
Everyone's holding their breath.
Opalisk, please. Yeah, he's just decided he wants to get off, and it's a little bit risky for him to continue doing this while there's B Gaming players on that cap. So, again, I really would have liked to have seen a tank from Caren Tiger up on that boost, especially now considering B Gaming are pushing the 2 flag. And
they failed it twice though. That's the problem. And B Gaming, they got the spot when old mate in the basher was leaving the boost, so they know this is a boost-free position to be in, which is why maybe they're so brazen about it. 30 seconds left on the cap, 2 tanks in there.
And Nadeko in the STRV, I'm not really sure what he's going to be able to do here. Like, as soon as he gets spotted, there's a very, very good chance that he just gets focused down by B Gaming. So I think unless B Gaming misplays this, they're in a pretty decent spot. I mean, 20 seconds there should be easy resets for B Gaming, but early pick
I
for
think
them.
They're just sacrificing him for a reset here. Can he get the shot off in time? Not finding it anything just yet. 10 seconds left on the hill. He's just going to get obliterated from the face of the earth. 8 seconds left. They need to get the resets and they need to get it now. 5 seconds left on the clock. 4, 3, 2, 1. It's going to be so close. Can they get the reset? I think they've done it. I think B Gaming just snatched a win straight from the Tiger's Den.
That was a massive failure from Caren Tiger.
Yeah.
That was a massive failure.
Yeah.
Twice failing the boost. Well, once failing the boost. Obviously, the bat chat had to fall off because he got spotted. Opalisk not getting the boost off. That's really cost them there as well. No easy resets. And an STRV. Like, if you're going to pick an STRV on steps, I don't think, you know, I think he kind of has to be on the boost. Really. Like, in that kind of a situation, what's the STRV doing? He literally just drove in and died. He didn't even get the reset.
He did.
So, just bad play across the board there from Caren Tiger. There's nothing good to say about that.
That was abysmal. That really was. That was just a mistake after mistake after mistake. After crediting them on when they make a mistake, they can they're very quick to band-aid it and do something about it. But this one was just, it seemed like all of a sudden they're thinking, oh my god, they're in the hill. They got 10 seconds left. Go, 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 go. And it didn't even matter if that hill was capped, because they were down 6,000 HP.
Yeah, it was lost almost as soon as the RU-251 got picked straight away, and the fact that they had the STRV on the field, which was never going to be doing a whole lot of work there. So for Caren Tiger, it's a pretty poor loss. Their defensive side on steps, generally speaking, has not been too bad. And now moving over to the attack, I do worry a little bit for them. Almost the Magic 7 there. Mordame, though, just getting enough damage on the board to make things slightly a little bit more respectable for Caren Tiger.
See, Jordan, one day.
Yeah, that'll be the real insult to injury if that does happen.
Yep, but of course, as you can see, not a lot coming out of Caren Tigers. They weren't able to get much damage. They just ran in and died at the end of it. And in a round like that, the damage doesn't really tell us anything about how that series went down. But I'll tell you what does, those big fat zeros.
Yeah, like 4 shots fired from Hellcry and 3 from Poly, and neither of them managed to at least do damage. Yeah, not great. And even another 4 from AkiOV, where he only managed to do 1 shot of damage. Like, that's exactly the point. Like, even if Caren Tiger had gotten the reset, there's 3 bat chats that are almost on the reset, on the reload, having only done 1 point of damage, 1 shot worth of damage.
That's
so
rough. It really
it's
is.
never going to work out for Caren Tiger in that kind of a situation. And B Gaming pull off a very, very convincing win, a pretty easy win there on the first half of Steps. Second half of Steps, you know, again, I'm a little bit worried here for Caren Tiger. Their attacking sides have been a little hit and miss. So we'll have to see what they're going to do coming out here.
Man, it would be embarrassing for them to go down in this series. I would say it's one of those impossible things, but after how shoddy they looked against Dark Wolves, B Gaming, they're in with a chance. Maybe Prokhorovka just wasn't their map. Remember, it was the Caren Tiger pick.
Yep.
So, coming into Steps' second half, if B Gaming can take this out, then they're in a real shot to take the series.
Yeah, potentially.
It's just one of them they can get through Ghost Town. That's the kicker.
Exactly. I think Ghost Town's going to be a big deal. Muravanka is really a bit of a wild card for me. If it does get to that one, I could see that going to a 1-1 or even a 2-0. Either way, it's so hard to predict on that map. But yeah, for me, Steps here, B Gaming, it's almost imperative that they pick up the 2-0 if they want to make it through to potentially picking up a win here. Because as I said, I think Ghost Town is fairly safely locked up for Caren Tiger. We saw them struggle on it yesterday, but traditionally, they've been a very good Ghost Town team. So, for me, this second half of Steps is going to be crucial in the grand scheme of this entire series.
No, you're right. And we'll have to see if B Gaming got it in them, really, because that looked good. That looked really good. But it also looked really bad. It was one of the things. Was it B Gaming playing well? Was it Caren Tigers just absolutely throwing that one towards them?
To me, that one was a Caren Tiger throw.
Yeah.
Like, yes, B Gaming played it well. They did the right things. They made the right decisions. But had there been a player up on the boost from Caren Tiger, had the STRV been a bat chat, you know, who knows how that game could have gone.
Of course. So hopefully Caren Tiger don't just throw everything away without even putting up the slightest bit of a fight in the next half so they can give themselves a better chance of winning. But B Gaming, at least, like you said, they made all the right moves. They forced the hand of Caren Tiger. They got the early spot on the bat chat trying to go on the boost, which forced them to abandon that plan. Then the RU251, by the time he tried to get up there, it was too little too late.
Yep.
So they tried to do something cheeky. They tried to do something unique. Great spotting coming out of the B Gaming roster that really enabled them to make all the right moves.
Good spotting, exactly. And just good, I suppose, awareness of what was going on around the map, what they needed to be doing. Getting very quickly on towards that 2 flag is not something that we see all that often, but B Gaming have shaken things up there a little bit. Caren Tiger, I don't think we're prepared for that one at all. Certainly not in that particular matchup. So here on the second half, I definitely want to see a bit more of a slow and reserved Caren Tiger on the attack. We have, like I said yesterday, seen them playing very, very aggressively, just driving straight over the tracks with almost no information. And we've seen how poorly it tends to work out for them. So they need to just be, I think, a little bit more passive here. Obviously not super passive, but they just need to play off the information a little bit more.
Yeah, Steps is becoming a very crazy map, and I feel like Horsemen are the ones leading the charge for that style of play. Caren Tiger following closely behind in that regard. So hopefully they don't make the same blunders that Horsemen have seemed to be doing coming into the second half here. Maybe B Gaming, though, what do you expect them to be running with? Do you think they'll be going for a more sensible boost here?
Well, I certainly hope so. I mean, I would love to see Matil
That's a good point.
in the RU251. He was sort of the original that we looked at to be the Steps guy.
He's playing a bit of S-Tank, though. He was playing on a proc.
Exactly, and that's a possibility, I think, again, for B Gaming. If they can get the S-Tank on into the hands of Matil, if they are going to boost him up, he can definitely do work in there. But, you know, I honestly feel like the S-Tank doesn't necessarily add that much over an RU251. Like, I feel like you can just have the RU251, have the S-Tank be a bad chat or a 140 or something like that. And I think that probably works a little bit more almost because the RU251 can still spam out, it can still get the resets. Sure, it's not going to do as much damage as the STRV, but I don't think you necessarily need the damage from the STRV when you've got all the bat chats on the field, when you've got the 140s. And I'm happy to see this lineup here for B Gaming doesn't involve an S-Tank. I'm not sold on it on Steps. Yes, on Prokhorovka. Yuda's on Ghost Town, yes. But Steps, yeah, I'm not such a fan.
Save it for the bat shots, and looks like that's what Big Gaming will be doing. But on the side of Caren Tiger, 5 bat shots. You mentioned they might want to do a very brazen push across the train tracks with little to no information, and judging by their position on the map, that could be just that, Jordan.
They potentially could be. So, let's have a look and see. Is Tiltimatil going to be doing the boost? It is Tiltimatil in the RU251, which is nice to see, but it does look like he's going to be doing the boost. Yeah, there we go. We have our little picture-in-picture. And Tiltimatil.
It's been a long time
What's
since
going
he's taken the reins.
He used to
an
be able to do it
RU251.
perfectly every time.
Yep. Well, practice makes perfect, and he might be out of that, Jordan.
Might be. He might be. He hasn't been playing so much Tier 8 this season. But
No.
again, we're going to be seeing Caren Tiger very, very aggressively towards the tracks. Like, what? AkiOV, I guess they've got information. They've got Yusashan spotted out over on towards that 2 flag, but I still feel like that was a bit of a risky push, you know.
Attempt 2.
If there had been a bat chat or something sitting in like the A5 position, he would have been taking a couple of shots for that move. But looks like they're going to be able to do this. Is he going to be able to spot out Tiltimatil? This could be huge for Caren Tiger. If he backs up just a little bit, if he gets in the view range. Oh, don't know if he has. I think he might have.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
Attempt 2
no,
results in a fail,
I
though.
think he actually might have. I think he might have spotted him because well, normally the mod would tell us, but it doesn't look like it's working at the moment. AkiOV did back out there, so that makes me think maybe he got spotted, and then Tiltimatil backing out off the boost as well. Maybe he also got spotted. Although, in saying that, Tiltimatil is going for the boost a 3rd time.
Yep.
So maybe he didn't even get spotted. And he's missed it. Nope, he's got it.
He's got it this time. 3rd time's a charm.
Well, this is the bit that he's been struggling with.
Yeah.
Again, like, he's going far too far to the left. They need to be moving it further around to the right. They need to be sitting towards the side of the cliff a little bit more.
Yeah, struggling with this one. This
There we
happens
go.
when you play a lot in the tier 10s, and tier
Alright,
8s
he's
are
got
a
it
thing of the
this time.
past, but the information that isn't completely out of his brain just yet. Still has the mechanics and knowledge to boost himself up there. But Polly going over for that 1 flag here. Starting off the cap at least. We'll see how Big Gaming decide to respond. As looks like Caren Tiger have dug in quite deep here.
It is an interesting setup for Caren Tiger. They do have a couple of tanks down towards the bottom of the map there, towards the southern part. I think it's Mordame and Zenlon for Caren Tiger down there. The rest just up towards the north here, protecting that RU251 as best as they can. But, I don't know, Polly, you know, he just has to be aware of all that spam that's coming out. I mean, there's not much that he can do about it, to be honest. It's kind of just luck whether or not the RU251 on the boost does hit him. And it looks like the RU251 on the boost has hit him. So
Just got to be careful as well. Shots are going to be coming through. Looks like he does get reset by Colin. Good shot. His job here. Everyone just kind of trading blows. No real damage being stuck to just yet. Big Gaming going to hit back on the cap. Caren Tiger going to get back on the cap, sorry. Oh, big 3 damage shot there.
big 3 damage.
Hey! I saw you looking at the screen like with a quizzical look there, Jordan.
What? I didn't even notice the 3 damage, to be honest. But yeah, T4 taking a shot there. I mean, it's kind of just your standard Sebs game at the moment here. Caren Tiger putting pressure on that flag. B Gaming trying to get those resets. But again, we're starting to see Caren Tiger get a little bit of an advantage here. So this could be potentially the 1-1 that I thought might come out on steps. It's looking good so far for Caren Tiger. As long as they don't mess this up, they have the advantages.
Yusashan Power just popping off here, trying to hit the opposing members. There's a minute left on the cap, so B Gaming, they can't rest on their laurels for too much longer. And Yusashan Power, you're going to have to start making that 71% accuracy come up clutch here.
Yeah,
he's done it.
Yeah, it was a blind shot though, I think. So good job from him there, but not the one that they needed to get the reset on.
Not the target that he needed, you're right.
Exactly. Polly has been the one that's got... Oh, don't get off the cap. Polly didn't get spotted. I would have liked to have seen him sit on the flag a little bit more there, but admittedly, that has worked out the way Caren Tiger have wanted. They've got as much as they needed out of that bait on the flag, and they've actually picked up Tiltimatil there as well. Polly does get spotted in the end, so a wise decision actually to get off the flag. I did misspeak, I suppose. But look, B Gaming, you know, the point of them having... or Caren Tiger, the point of them having that tank on the flag was just to bait out B Gaming, try and get some damage across when they were trying to get those resets. And this is exactly what happened here for Caren Tiger. So things have worked in their favor so far.
Yep, good shots onto Happiness as well as he tries to get a little bit too big for his boots. He goes down to about half HP. Bit more over though. Like you said, Caren Tiger, they've gotten what they want. They've gotten the damage down, and now just set up for another attempt at the hill. B Gaming going to have to poke out and break it once again, and that's going to result in even more damage being dealt. It's Ususham Power. Again, our focus point for B Gaming to be the player to get the resets.
Yeah, so much pressure at the moment here on B Gaming. Caren Tiger are just playing this one so well. Polly, a little unfortunate there that he does get
again out of Ususham.
hit again. Oh, that one was close as well. So, you know, I would really, really not want to be a light tank player in WGL. Like,
Maybe that's why Matil quit.
it's such
Quit the light tank. He's like,
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm done getting killed for your information.
It must suck. Like, all you do is sit on that flag and try and dodge shells that are, you know, they're not even aimed at you, but you inevitably take shots because of how many shells are headed in your direction, and you just have to hope that your teammates are going to be able to trade back for you. If you go down, like, there's nothing you can really do about it. But at the moment, Polly is looking like he's relatively safe in that position.
T4, taking aim and firing.
Another shell going in his direction. So, yeah, Caren Tiger, the pressure that this...
They're losing it.
Like, I think they need to, you know, get off this cap. Like, it's not working now. They got their advantage off it, but now they need to just find something else. They need to push an advantage
back,
somewhere.
Boys.
No, he's back.
Well, they have 2 on it, though.
I'd love to see him just sort of sit in a bush, right?
Love
sit
to
in
see
that
him
bush.
just drive around
Because
really
surely no one pre-fires that bush. They think, okay, the bush is way too obvious.
Mind
Anyway.
games, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Up on the hill. Vittori trying to see if he can get a shot on there. What's he going to do? Do you just pre-fire the bush?
No, bush is in the middle of the flag. That was the bush that's on the outside of the flag. Yeah, again, it's just sort of the needle in the haystack. I do like this setup, though, here for Caren Tiger on the flag. Polly, if he does get hit by one more shell, is going to go down, but at the very least, he is going to act as a bit of a shield there for the Bat Chat behind him.
Yeah, that's right. If he goes down, then at least he has some sort of artificial cover to keep him safe for now. 10 seconds left on the clock, B Gaming. They're really going to have to go for it soon. They've got 5 seconds left. Where are B Gaming's armies?
Nowhere, I think, is the answer.
Oh, a little sneaky shot. Where was that from? Was that from Colin? I think it was. On the side, he's made a great rotation over. He does get spotted, but they're still running out of time to work with. Usushang Power goes down. Otori is the next one to fall, and Caren Tiger force B Gaming's hand, but unfortunately, they're holding 2 and 7.
Yeah, the problem there for B Gaming is that they just lost far, far too much in the early game, and while they were able to trade a little bit back, you know, as the round progressed, you know, the advantage was just there so early on for Caren Tiger that B Gaming wasn't able to come back from it.
UV on the reload. Don't know if he's going to be pertinent to the next upcoming fight. He still has 20 seconds. I don't know if B Gaming had that much left. On their side here, but looks
I mean,
Caren Tiger's going to go for a 3 cap.
There's a minute and a half left here for Caren Tiger, so that timer is ticking down pretty quickly. So, I don't know, B Gaming, if things go right for them, there's still a chance that they can pull this one off. Maybe they get a reset and try and hide, something like that. But with only 5 seconds left on the clock, they've lost another tank. I don't even think they're in a position to reset this. Oh, they are.
He is. He's going to be able to get at least 1 shot out, but he might die for his trouble. He goes down, but they still have enough tanks on the field to make it a 30-second capture.
Yeah, Taki is the only one left alive here for B Gaming, and I mean, yeah, okay, they've spotted him. I was going to say, maybe a little bit risky there for Caren Tiger to actually try and chase down Taki as opposed to just jumping on the cap. Yeah, they are going to get on the cap here. So once they get a 3rd tank on that cap, they should be able to, yeah, they go 35 seconds. So they're easy. They win no matter what. Akio V, though, should be able to chase down Taki here. Taki's on the reload, so it should be an easy cleanup.
Taki, not too much to say here. He's just going to go down to Akio V, and another good round coming out of Caren Tiger, taking steps 1-1. B Gaming, unfortunately, they just waited too long. They were getting some good shots out onto the hill, but for every shot they blind fired onto the hill, they were taking directly to their hulls. So, a lot of free damage.
Taki, yeah. Well, it doesn't matter in the end there. It is going to be the win for Caren Tiger, which puts them at 3-1 after the first 2 maps. And Akiovi in the end did die. So did Taki, actually. But
Just trading one
there
for
you
one.
go. So, yeah, look, I'm fairly happy with that for Caren Tiger. Yes, the first round of steps was pretty poor from them. I think
very
they bounced back with a pretty good performance there
No,
in
they
the
kept their
second
composure.
half. Yeah.
Kept their composure, kept their cool, didn't do anything too risky. Oh, you could say a few of those hill darting in and out were a little bit risky. They had the opportunity when they had the HP pull advantage to just throw that to the wind, go for the fight, and should have taken it out, but they wanted to play it safe in their books.
Yeah, look, it was not too bad there for Caren Tiger. A 1-1 is kind of what I thought was going to be the case there on steps. I thought that Caren Tiger was definitely going to be a little bit stronger than what they were. But in the end, 1-1, it's fair enough. They've got the advantage already. It's not going to bother them too much. 3-1 is still a very, very big lead. And all they have to do now is focus in on Ghost Town and close that out there.
Shouldn't be too hard for them to deal with. I'm sure they have the potential. Well, they do have the potential to make Ghost Town a very swift 2-0. It's just whether or not B Gaming will let them, because B Gaming, they're the masters of their own destiny tonight, going up against Caren Tiger on Ghost Town. Caren Tiger, they've looked weak on it recently, but normally they are a very strong Ghost Town team.
Yeah, normally.
Yeah.
Whether or not they are going to be actually, tonight, I think is an important question.
And look, this was just B Gaming getting their hand forced here. Tiltil had to go in for the spots. He got obliterated immediately off the bat. That was the 1 second clutch reset from T4, but it was all for naught as the damage had already been dealt. Taki putting up some pretty hefty results there, but I imagine he padded a few of those in the later half of that game when they're just running around hooning for kills. Akio V, Zenlon, and Yupa all doing work for their respective team. Mudame and Nikito up there as well.
Yeah, not too bad there for Caren Tiger at all. Again, Yusa Power really not getting the work done for B Gaming that he needed.
No, he really isn't. And that's part of the reason that they're losing here, is that they have such a potential damage-dealing threat. And when he's not dealing the damage, then he's just another tank on the field. When you got a superstar player on your team, you really need him to start acting like one.
Yeah, definitely. Anyway, I guess that's steps done and dusted here.
And look, you wonder why Tiltil doesn't want to play light tanks anymore.
Yeah.
15 shots fired, 225 damage left. Dealt.
Yeah, I know. Like, it's not great. But someone has to take that role. So there you go. I guess it is those two guys that have to do it. But Ghost Town. I'm still a little bit undecided. Like, I think it should be a 2-0
after
for
Caren Tiger
but
played that first half of steps, the way that they played it makes me think that there is a potential for them to be their own worst enemies coming into Ghost Town here. So I do think that there's a bigger chance than we're giving B Gaming, only because of how Caren Tiger have shown that they can play when under pressure. So if B Gaming can exert similar pressure, capitalize on similar mistakes, then there is the possibility here for Caren Tiger to falter.
yeah, definitely. We saw them faltering yesterday. We've seen them faltering before on Ghost Town. I mean, they got 2-0'd by Horseman on this map, and then I think they came back and actually 2-0'd Horseman again on the map. So it was a bit of a 50-50 split at the end of that. But in saying that, again, it hasn't been a perfect map for them at all. Certainly probably not as strong as it was for them last season. I just want to see, them go back to that tried and true method where they always take, a lot of 50Bs, a couple of bat chats, and just try and take the fights on Ghost Town like that. Because that seems to be what works for Caren Tiger.
Yeah.
When they mess around with other tanks, it seems to fall apart a little bit.
Hopefully for them, they can kind of get these question marks out of their heads and just give us some solid tanking here. Not make too many mistakes. If B Gaming play their standard game as well, I really don't see them with too much of a shot against Caren Tiger. It's just not looking good. It's not looking good. When they're both playing well, it's Caren Tiger going to come out ahead. They need to start forcing Caren Tiger to react to these plays, because that's when Caren Tiger look a little bit on the fritz there. So if B Gaming want a chance at winning Ghost Town, I do think they need to be proactive. They need to force the weak side of Caren Tiger, identify where their numbers aren't, and go for there.
Yeah. And I wonder what we're going to be seeing actually coming out here from B Gaming, because they do tend to change things up a little bit on Ghost Town. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see an E100 or two even. I think they've done that before.
It's the Caren Tiger we know and love.
IS7s, IS4s. I mean, there's a lot of options on Ghost Town. That's what I like about it.
Yeah, it really
you can really shift your tank selections around depending on what your team strengths are. But I think that's something that maybe B Gaming is struggling with a little bit. They're kind of, still trying to figure out what their identity is almost. Are they going to be a team that focuses on the fast, mobile, bat chance, 140s, that kind of thing? Or are they going to be going for the heavy tanks like the Mouse and that sort of thing? So it's really just backwards and forwards at the moment for B Gaming.
It really
they haven't figured out what they want to do. Maybe not necessarily on Ghost Town, but on a lot of the maps, things just don't work out too well for them. And, even on Ghost Town, it is a bit shaky for them.
And I think one of the highlights there from, like you said, that identity crisis they're having is Tiltil not being able to find his spot. If he's not liking the light tanks, the tier 8s, he's not liking the tier 10s, he's really struggling to find his rhythm in the team. Are they trying to build their compositions around him, or what's going on here? Because there's obviously something more at play that's stopping these guys from really getting a solid identity.
Yeah. So, well, we'll have to find out what we're going to be seeing coming out here from B Gaming. It's definitely going to have to be something better than what we've seen from them so far on Ghost Town, because it definitely hasn't been too kind to them so far this season. I don't think they've actually even managed to pick up a round on it. At least coming into this week, they hadn't. So it's trying times, really, for B Gaming here. So, like I said, it should be a 2-0 for Caren Tiger, but that, again, comes down to whether or not Caren Tiger is playing like they should be, or like they were playing like last night.
And they showed signs of that on the first half of steps. They showed signs that they can, that they're not out of the woods yet. It's not all in the past. They're still being haunted by the demons of yesterday. So it's whether or not they can just quell that once and for all. Come into Ghost Town confident, strong, and finish out this series 2-0.
Yeah, and that's what they need to do here, I think. Even if they go 1-1 here, they need to close it out then on Roar of Anchor. I don't think they can allow any more rounds than that to go over to
peace of mind, at least.
Exactly, peace of mind. They had a poor performance yesterday, but if they can come back today, if they can show us a good performance, they're going to be back in my good books. They'll probably be back in most people's good books. But definitely, if they allow too many rounds to go away to B Gaming here, again, we're still going to be having to question them. We're going to have to be thinking about, well, what's going wrong for Caren Tiger here? Are they stepping up? Are they, meeting our expectations? Because certainly last night they weren't.
No,
and even before last night, I
nuts.
was still starting to question them. They had that defeat, I think it was to Meltdown. They had struggles against Horsemen as well. Considering we touted Caren Tiger early on in this season as a team that really looked like they were making massive improvements and that kind of thing, still yet to really see that be consistent for them.
No, it is a hard thing to perform week after week, especially when you're on such a big pedestal that these teams get themselves when they're playing so well. And it's the praise is always rightly so. It's because they're playing well that we can give them this praise. But you got to remember, if for teams to really reach that next level, consistency is the #1 factor. Because you can't, if you're going to be playing team efficiency one week where you're taking out EL, where you're taking out pretty much everyone in your wake, and then you're playing like Caren Tiger the next week, these things are going to happen. You need to find that kind of smooth consistency where your tank picks are on point, your opening strategies are on point, and you're taking out the wins that you should be.
Yeah, definitely. And we're going to find out whether or not that is going to be the case here for Caren Tiger. Moving on to Ghost Town, it is actually B Gaming's pick.
Okay.
So maybe they feel like they can get something on here, but yeah, I'm not too confident about them for that. And we have seen that typical Caren Tiger lineup coming out. That is exactly what I wanted to see. The WZ 111s, of course, a very useful tank here on Ghost Town, very high alpha, a reasonably sturdy tank as well. Probably not going to be seeing much in the ways of a one flag push because of that UDES. It seems to really shut that down quite easily. But it is Caren Tiger, so I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, but I really like their tank lineup here. Very strong. Like you said, that we wanted to see out of them, but we're jumping in to game number 5 here. Caren Tiger taking on B Gaming, as we see a little picture of. Can't make out who that is. It's Otori. Going to be going for the boost here. And whoa, he gets it. Have you ever seen a player get a solo boost on Ghost Town? Unheard of, John.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Did it all by himself. Wow.
Wow.
Next, I want to see him get on top of one of the houses on Himmelsdorf.
Not sure that's possible. Not sure that's possible. Maybe if they alter the side of the cliff so that you can actually drive off it, then
Now
maybe
that would be fun. I
would
don't
be,
think a
it would
tank
be.
would survive the impact.
Now, we actually have seen that one flank push here from the WZ-111s, which actually it's the Batchats.
Oh.
Okay, fair enough. So normally when you see this kind of a lineup for Caren Tiger, you think, okay, the WZ-111s are going to be getting onto the flag there. Oh, this
Scatter
is
like
interesting.
roaches under a light.
Yeah, they've spotted something out that they don't like. They're going to get back out of there. I think it's probably the Caren Tiger trying to push something in the south,
Shinozaka
and
might
they
be in
want
trouble,
those
though.
Batchats in that area, but as of yet, no damage coming across.
They really got to be careful here. They can't stay for too long. And like you mentioned, they got spotted or they spotted someone out. I think it was maybe more to draw the attention of B Gaming down and then punish them. Not going to happen, though.
Not yet, but Shinozaka needs to be very careful with where he is. He does have a bit of backup there from Yusashan Power, but it is a risky position, that is for sure.
First shot goes down onto Polly. Not a big one. Not too much happening just yet. Yusashan Power has made his rotation over to help out Shinozaka so he doesn't get out. So he can get out with his life, and all 7 of Caren Tiger's tanks just completely grouped up here. And I'm curious to see what their avenue of approach is to taking this game.
Yeah. They have the information, but they just don't have the shots, and they're allowing a little bit of free damage to come across them. Not too much, but yeah, I mean, it just doesn't feel like confidence from Caren Tiger.
It looks like they've backed themselves into a corner here. I really don't see many avenues of approach right now because B Gaming, they've locked them in. They're making sure that they're watching all the lines of sights, all the narrow entry points. If Caren Tiger were to try and break out here, shot onto the Kranwagen on Till. Not a big one though. You can see they're rotating back over to that 1 cap here. So
I like
maybe
that.
another old bait and switch.
Mara's probably going to take a shot here. No, Shinozaka not game enough to take the trade.
Oh, he's not clicking on I'm feel lucky on the Google search right now.
I do like this though from Caren Tiger. I don't think they were getting anything done towards the southern part of the map, so I like that they've tried to turn things around and make it and force it back up towards the one side. I think the Death Alley, which is kind of where they're sitting in at the moment, is kind of their avenue. That's where they want to take the fights because they got those 50 Bs. They can just back out, get the picks and fall back. But if they kind of fight in a position where this UDES can get free shots, that's where I can see things starting to become troublesome for Caren Tiger.
Oh, Madame and Polly, they're making their way down. Till just gets obliterated. The Kranwagen falls. That's going to be first tank going down for B Gaming. Caren Tiger, how are they going to utilize and capitalize on this pressure?
Yeah, Maro in a bit of pressure there as well. He's not going to be in a nice trade at all up against a AMX-50B of Yusashan Power. Certainly not going to be winning that one, but looks like he's going to get around the corner without taking too much damage, so it's a good start for Caren Tiger.
They're off to a very valiant lead here. Helkura and Mura just poking around the corner. Good shot into Taki. Now Yusashan Power may be the next focal point. Where are the rest of Caren Tiger's tanks so they can clean this one out? Helkura looking his sights over. Does he want to get a good shot? Can't see if he connected it just yet. Maybe. Not a big one though. Muro back in the map. Shinozaka forcing Polly to retreat, but I think it's all gone wrong for B Gaming. Taki goes down. They're getting the return damage, but Colin falls as well. Tanks off the field galore for B Gaming, and Caren Tiger looks like they're just going to sweep this first round of Ghost Town.
Well, this is where Caren Tiger needs to be careful. Most of their tanks are going to be on reload. They need to make sure that they're not going to get
She's
picked up
right,
here.
mate.
And I think they are. I think they are.
She'll be right.
It's just something to be careful of for them. But in the end, it does look like they should be able to close this one out. The WZ-111's providing enough damage while the rest of those tanks were on the reload. Even more Dame here just chasing down Shinozaka.
The perfect boys.
And it looks like it could potentially be the perfect round like you spoke of.
Well, 5 seconds left on the reload, then Shinozaka maybe... I didn't even need a shot, he just got slammed! See you, mate. Last person left alive is Otorian. He gets obliterated. Perfect round for Caren Tiger. I feel like a fool for ever questioning their Ghost Town when they come out with results like that.
Yeah, they looked pretty good. They did look pretty good. But, you know, there were still chances for B Gaming in that one. The focus fire wasn't quite there. We saw a lot of those players from Caren Tiger were quite low on HP, so it's still not 100%. I'm still not 100% confident about this 5-1 prediction.
Yet.
But Caren Tiger is just one round away from picking that up, and I think they should be able to do it. You know, that it does settle the nerves a little bit, getting a good win like that on Ghost Town. So, you know, we'll see what they can do on their defensive side, but they've definitely set themselves up in a position here to definitely pull off a confident win.
Yeah, it really looked like that one outlier on the first round of Steps is a thing of the past. Now they're playing very smart tanks, taking the correct trades, not overextending, and that just goes to show a lot of low HP tanks can be very telling of how you're playing the map. You're doing great switches in and out, never overcommitting one tank to the fight, having backup time and time again, making sure to go for the shots that aren't putting yourself vulnerable, but also getting return damage across if you're taking some.
Yeah, definitely, and something that Big Gaming I think needs to work on there as well. I mean, we'll see how they go in the second half, but I'm really, yeah, like how can they look so good one week and then so poor the next? But again, it's the same question for Caren Tiger. How can they look so poor yesterday and then so much better today against two teams which are fairly similarly matched? Even you could argue Dark Horse is
I love this.
probably worse on paper.
So cool.
Love the Ram, love the Ram.
He's
And,
got
oh, the WZ's doing so much damage.
Yeah, they were really putting out the hurt. And you could tell it was, I think, Big Gaming, they were very hesitant to waste their shells on the WZ-111s. And I think that's what gave them the freedom to put out uncontested damage.
Exactly. The WZ-111s can continue firing while those 50Bs are on the reload as well. So, in theory, their DPM is quite good. They have a very, very good gun as well. So, can't really complain about that one at all. Akio V and Maro doing the top damage for their team. Yes, if they had have lost, then that would have been a question mark. But considering they won, I think everything's forgiven. Even Yupa, Hilkarai doing a decent amount of damage with those 50Ps. Like 2K is quite respectable. It's a couple of clips or almost a couple of clips worth of damage coming out from the 50Bs. So no complaints really across the board there for Caren Tiger. Maybe the exception of Nadeko and Poly, but there's always going to be one or two guys on the team that aren't able to get the damage out, not in position, something like they get taken down early or something like that. But
he's struggling to find his footing.
Again, yeah, it's
there doesn't seem to be a spot for him on this team. He's not doing well in the light tanks. He's not doing well in the tier 10s. He's I don't know how to describe it. It's just poor play out of Tilted. We expect better of him.
Yes, yeah. Well, I expect better from him as a scout tank player.
I know.
We don't necessarily. I guess we kind of are getting a bit of a feel as to how he's going here in the tier 10s, but it's definitely not working out as well as it was for Tilted Matil in the IU251.
He just needs to commit back to the role.
I think so.
We saw him playing the scout on Steps, and then all of a sudden he's back in a Kranviken. Like, where's the consistency that we need out of this team? Because if you keep changing it up every single map, you're going to get out of practice. You're going to miss the boost that he used to be able to hit 100% of the time.
Yeah.
And that's going to cost you a lot of valuable time.
Look, anyway, I mean, that's the decision of B Gaming. They're going to have to continue running with that, and hopefully they improve throughout the rest of this season. I mean, it is still a team with a lot of potential. If they can potentially come back in here in the last half, I suppose, of the season, there's a chance that they can make it back into the top 4. It's slim, obviously, given the way a lot of the other teams are performing at the moment, but it's still a thing if they can get something on the board. But at the moment, it's definitely not looking like that. Caren Tiger here should be able to close this one out in the second half of Ghost Town. I think they're looking pretty good tonight. I don't think B Gaming is looking all that great. And even though we have seen Caren Tiger stumbling throughout this week, at least.
True.
You know, B Gaming, for me, is just not strong enough of an opponent to be able to pull this one through.
They're catching their balance. They stumbled a little bit yesterday, but they're catching their balance today. They're ensuring that it's not going to happen to them again. And I really don't see a way that Big Gaming can come out of this Ghost Town ahead. It's on the defense, and we've seen Caren Tiger, when they play the defense, they like to get well, pretty much every team likes to get the Udes up on that boost. They like to rain down the fire from various angles. And teams that do struggle to fight in the correct areas are going to be punished. You can see Caren Tiger. I don't think there was a position where that Udes was just popping off damage. It was kind of dead weight in the end there. Last tank left alive is what we see for these defense teams a lot, if they're not utilizing it correctly. And I feel like it's becoming a bit of like a crutch for these teams. They're like, oh yeah, Ghost Town defense, we've got to chuck an Udes up on the hill.
It's just,
it doesn't work.
It can exert so much pressure, and you know, if you don't have it,
don't know how to utilize it.
It gives a lot of freedom to your opposing team. They can move around the map quite a lot easier. There's a lot more up towards the north that they can do if it's just an IU251 on the boost. In saying that, though, you know, we have got the statistics for the tanks. We have seen that the Udes is sitting very, very low. I think Alex might have said it was the lowest in terms of win rate across all the tanks that generally get picked. It's sitting on something like 33% win rate, which is really not great. So
I feel like more times than not, we're seeing Ghost Town just go awry And then we're seeing a 1k HP Udez who's done a few shots here and there, just sitting up on the hill while the rest of his tanks die, and he's just watching through his binoculars, his portable telescope, thinking, what's going wrong, team? Hey, I was doing my job.
Yeah.
Where the rest of you is. And it's just like you said, it's either that or an RU251, but who knows, right?
Yeah, like whether or not maybe it is the teams on the defensive side not recognizing how to use the UDES. I mean, I'd be interested to see what the statistics are from the regions like EU, NA, CIS, whether or not their UDES is really making an impact, because at the moment it certainly doesn't seem like it's making a huge impact here, at least in APAC. And then whether maybe just the attacking teams know how to play around it quite nicely. I don't know. But I feel like, you know, maybe it is time to start closing the book on the UDES, because it's not really working out all that much. I mean,
it definitely made a splash when teams first started putting it up there. You could see the incline.
Yeah.
And then it just dropped. And since then, since teams have been learning to play around it, we really haven't seen it be an effective tank. And it's, like I said, I feel like people, they're just so set in this mindset of chuck the UDES up, and when it works, right? But more times than not, it's not working.
Yeah, and would like an RU251 be a little bit better? I mean, it can fairly similarly fulfill the same role of getting those resets with the HE shells. And it's a little bit more mobile, it can dart around a little bit, it can be a bit more of a pain around the map, whereas the UDES is very, very stationary and it can only sort of sit in one position.
And once you know they have a UDES, you know exactly where it is. You know where not to play around, essentially. You just go, okay, it's going to be looking down these angles, these laneways, these lines. As long as we don't fight here, it's useless. With the RU251, it's zipping in and out, it's doing this, it's doing that, it's getting spots, it's getting little mosquito bite shots here and there. So it's always the pressure in the back of your mind.
Yeah. So I mean, again, looking back at Ghost Town here for B Gaming on the attack, they still don't have any wins. Coming into this week. So I'm very, very hesitant to say that they're even going to be able to pull this one off. The defensive side as well has, generally speaking, been a little bit better for Caren Tiger than the attacking side this season. So I think this one's pretty well wrapped up for Caren Tiger, unless they make some sort of big mistake, which we have seen from them on Ghost Town before. True. But that was, generally speaking, on the attacking side more so than on the defensive side.
Well, now we have a look at what tanks they'll be rolling out onto the field here. And Caren Tiger, no surprise, they are going to go for that UDES. It's something that all APAC teams are running on the defense side. Whether you've listened to myself and Jordan explain why it may or may not be good or not.
Yeah. And
B Gaming, though, heavy lineup with the double E100s.
I did say before this one came out, I thought, you know, it's a possibility for B Gaming to pick the E100s, and there it is, the T57 Heavy as well, instead of probably an extra 50B for B Gaming. I think that's fair enough. I probably would favour the 50B a little bit. I just feel like it has more of an impact than the T57s, generally speaking.
We know how much Alex loves the T57s.
Yeah, well, that was last season. Now he's a big fanboy of the Kranwagen. I mean, I think he just jumps ship all the time.
Yeah, a bit of a flip-flop, mate.
Yeah, maybe he should cast World of Warships.
He couldn't if he jumping ship all the time. He'd be in the ocean, just drowning.
Exactly. But now we need to focus in on this one. It's I think, very important for Caren Tiger to close this out 5-1, really, because it would just be a bit of a blow to their confidence if they're not able to close it out here.
Yeah, but look at B Gaming. They're playing straight into the UDES's power lane. Right on that one cap. Matil cops a shot already. Now he's back on a Batshot AP, so back playing the scouting role. This guy, he can't sit still.
Yeah. More Dame's in a pretty risky position here. I hope he doesn't keep pushing forward there, because that could really be a big issue. And we can see the big game.
Does he have to? Because look at the timer on the cap.
He doesn't really at the moment. We just need to see the UDES getting some shots across. I mean, yes, there's only 15 seconds left on the clock, but Akio V's in a position where he should be able to get a reset there as well. If Caren Tiger allow this one to go away without a reset, it's going to be poor. But yeah, there is the reset. So no worries just yet for Caren Tiger. Still a fair bit of time pressure on Caren Tiger, and when those E100s start to get involved, things could potentially be a problem, but B Gaming is starting to bleed a lot of HP. Matil on, well, very, very low. One shot for pretty much every tank on the field. Yeah, in fact, every tank on the field for Caren Tiger. And that cap pressure is really almost a non-factor at the moment for Caren Tiger.
It really seemed like B Gaming wanted Caren Tiger to overcommit to going for a reset. They had their big, bulky setup in the middle of the map, hoping for a rotate through kind of that D6 area, and then they were going to spring the trap. But Caren Tiger, they had the UDES up on the hill, and it was just doing work.
And this is a really good spot for Mordame. because of the fact that that tank is so accurate, it's a lot easier for him to get those pixel shots than it would be in, say, something like an IS-7 or an IS-4, anything like that. So I like that the FV215B is in that position. It's worked out really nicely for Caren Tiger, and look at the HP advantage that they have now, even though B Gaming came into this game with a massive health advantage.
Yeah, it's not looking too good right now, but Caren Tiger 1 round away from taking it for B Gaming. Let's jump on board with them and a listen in, but to see how they feel about that shot.
分かってるもん。今
も
下がれない。
うダメもういいっていいっていいって。
もうダメさんこっちから下がれないこれ。
下がる
下がって
下がる。
目切って。
ナイス。一発入ったよ。
これ残るよまだこれ。これ今ので来るかもしれない。削れたから。
縦見て51人立って
もうダメさん俺のルートちょっと俺のルート見て。
今ねこことここは見えてっかね
見てるよ見てるよ見てるよ。
いや俺今こっち見てるよ
おう、弾かれた。こっち来た。中入ってくる、中入ってくる。
あ、君任すわ。
215引きたんだったら
セブン側まで寄っちゃうよ。
えい。
ナイス。
外に展開して215
FV
これ
FV 外 FV 外 FV
上がった上がった
行ってない。
ま、中入ってきて、中入ってきて。
あー来てる来てる。
戻っていい戻っていい。
おう
ここに来るここに来る
マロニアに来るよこれ
これもう下がるわ、俺下がる、下がる、下がるよ。
この北の L 字の北のブロックに下がってそれ。
俺あと3発
南の50に当てるよ。ナイス。
ナイス。
ナイス。
ちょっと南側寄るよこれ。
And nice is right. They get the kill on Till Matil. And looks like they're making their push forward. Oh, no, not just yet. They're going to put a pin in that one for now. T4 going very, very ambitious shot over there. I don't think it's going to get that one anytime soon. But now it looks like B Gaming, they've got their sights set on the 2 flag, and we know how well this one works out, Jordan.
Yeah, well, generally speaking, it's not so great.
No, it's not.
There's a lot of angles here that Caren Tiger can come from. I'm surprised actually to see them not coming in from like the 6-7 line, because that's really almost unguarded at the moment for B Gaming. Obviously, they don't quite know that. We can see Zenlon getting higher up on the boost. He's going to try and fire into the 2 flag. I believe you can actually get an angle into the 2 flag from that boost. So 20 seconds still left on the cap timing here. I think it's enough time really for Caren Tiger to get into position, get the reset. There's one. I dare say that might have even been from the UDES up on the boost. Or was it Akio V? No, I don't know.
I think it was Madonna. No.
Who knows? It's hard to tell sometimes
It
which
really
direction the shot's coming from. But yeah, look, there's no pressure here on Caren Tiger at all. They're just having a ball, farming the damage.
They really are. Good shots returned onto Akio V and Yupa, but it's not the end of the world. Yupa takes a big one, another one at that. He's getting very, very low down to 202. He finally falls, but it's not before 2 tanks on the side of B Gaming go down as well. It should be a very quick cleanup for the Caren Tiger. No harm, no foul for them. B Gaming, valiant effort. Taking out a round here. One more than I anticipated. One less than Alex, but Jordan right on the mark for you today.
As
so
usual.
Congratulations, my friend. Oh, don't give me that bloody nonsense.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's still throwable here for Caren Tiger. Like, if they walk into those E100s,
They're fine.
Mordame, Akio V, Maro, Poly, all one-shots.
I don't think this game has collateral damage shots, so they're fine.
Well, it does if they shoot HE, but not to that extent.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, well, basically that's pretty much the game wrapped up here for Caren Tiger now. So
in a nice little bow, Caren Tiger.
Yep.
They can sleep easy tonight.
they definitely can.
They don't have to take to Twitter with outrage. They can say, "Hey, we're back, boys."
back.
Smiley face.
They definitely looked a
no
lot better.
angry faces tonight.
No angry faces tonight, certainly not. I think that's a much better performance from Caren Tiger tonight.
Yeah.
You know, that's what we really expected to see yesterday against Dark Wolves, but obviously wasn't the case. So at least they're able to come out of this week with some points on the board. They'll still be sitting, I think, fairly securely in the 3rd position behind Team Efficiency. But, you know, they would be a little bit disappointed after this week.
True.
It's not a big deal, though. Like, it's only one match. You know, if they can continue through the rest of this season, winning the matches that they should, maybe picking up some upsets, something like that, I think they're still in with a very, very good chance of qualifying for finals.
No, I think you're right. Caren Tiger, there's a reason that we consider them one of the contenders for that number 2 spot, along with, of course, EL and Horseman, even though I dare say EL may even be up for contention on the number 1 spot, depending on how EL Gaming continue on. But could have been a fluke, could have not, who knows. But tonight, it wasn't a fluke. It was Caren Tiger. Maybe Caren Tiger's loss was a fluke, because they looked very strong tonight.
I almost feel like it was, really.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that was the same Caren Tiger that we've been seeing throughout the rest of this season. So,
I know.
you know, not going to draw too much into that one against Dark Horse. I think maybe they just had an off night. It can happen.
It really can. Like we said, performing every single week, day in, day out. They play a lot of games. A lot of long games on the weekend, so it's understandable here. But damage dealt pretty high for Akiovi and Hellcry. Colin and that E100 able to dish out a few shots as well. Polly, Maru, Modame, all putting up results. Tacky in the T57 heavy says, "Suck it, Alex. I can hit the top of the damage dealt charts as well."
Yeah, look, an E100 up there, pretty nice for B Gaming, but where's the rest of them?
That's what they are.
Only 2 shots managed to connect.
Oh,
he was
Till
alive
Till.
for quite a long time. Till, he did get wrecked at the start of the battle. He was on the flag, so I mean, I'm not going to blame him too much for that one. Again, another uncharacteristically poor performance from Yusashan tonight.
But you can understand why he doesn't want to play tier 8s anymore, right?
Yeah. I think when we see the post-match stats, we're going to have to really focus in on Yusashan because, for me, again, he hasn't stepped up tonight.
Yeah, that will kind of be the hearsay, well, rather the tell-all of the overall statistics of the game. And like you said, Yusashan Power, he's one of the top damage dealers.
He is the top damage dealer.
He is
well,
the top damage dealer in LE. Maybe
top
not after
average
tonight.
damage dealer. He's not. He hasn't got the most damage out because he hasn't played the most rounds.
Fair enough.
But on average, per round, he does the most damage.
And those statistics may have tanked a little bit tonight.
Definitely.
Depending on
Definitely. It's not been a good week for our top damage dealers.
No, they've all.
JT's not had a great week.
This is why it's so many upsets because these really huge players are sleeping. They're
I
slacking.
wonder, maybe even Yupa can actually jump up towards the top here.
Could.
He had a pretty decent night last night from memory. I think it was around 1800, which is generally a little bit below his output, but tonight I think he's been a bit better.
For the audience at home, what are the top average damage dealers sitting on? What's Yusashan Power sitting on?
Yusashan's on 2,497 average damage per round.
Insane.
And he was by far and away nowhere near that tonight. Like, I think he'd probably be, I don't know, hazard a guess, around 1,700 tops.
Yeah, okay.
So that's going to drop quite a lot.
It's huge. If he's not putting up, if he's putting in results of 2,400 per game average, that's just nuts. So if he's struggling tonight, then you can expect the rest of B Gaming to be struggling with him.
Definitely. I think when he's not stepping up, that's when we do tend to see B Gaming struggling a little bit.
We
They
see
just
some of
don't
their
have
worst.
they don't have depth in their lineup. Not like Team Efficiency, who when one player's off, like for example, JT wasn't doing that much today, but we saw more in Party, absolutely rolling faces. So
Bolognese as well.
And Bolognese when he played as well. Exactly. Like a lot of depth in that lineup. Not so much for B Gaming. I guess you can argue Caren Tiger have some degree of depth. Like we've seen good performance from Yupa, Hellcry, Nadeko, Modame, even Polly as well, but like not to the same extent, I think, for Team Efficiency.
Without a doubt. And I'm sure when we get to have a look at the post-match statistics, it will give us that insight. Not even on the top 7.
Yeah, like he's not even up towards 7. Like he must have had a really bad night.
What was the number you said? 1.4?
I said he would get 1.7 tops, but he's nowhere near that.
No, not even close. Akio V putting up the numbers. 2.1 Madame, Yupa, and Hellcry. These are all the players that need to step up for Caren Tiger, and they did. Great stuff out of them.
Yupa, again, a little bit down on his output, but this time it was Akio V's turn to step up, and that's very, very impressive from Akio V, especially considering early on in Prokhorovka, he went down straight off the bat. He was the one in the IS-7, so that was a 0 damage game for him. So, yeah, 1.2 for Yusashan, really not good. T4, 600. He's been in the tier 8 a little bit tonight for B Gaming as well, but in reality, it's just not enough. It's just not enough.
Unfortunate stuff for B Gaming as they fall down to Caren Tiger in a 5-1 fashion. Very one-sided affair. Caren Tiger shaking off the loss that they had last night, coming back into the series strong. Great to see them back on form, and I really hope that they continue to play strong because they have so much to offer us. They have so many more exciting games ahead of them, and there's a lot of tanks to be played, and I really am glad that one of our top tanking rosters are back on form.
Yeah, I hope that they're going to be able to continue that as well because, you know, when we kind of sold the storylines of this season, it was that sort of number 2 position was being fought by Team Efficiency, Caren Tiger, Horseman, Meltdown. So far, it's very, very securely in the hands of Team Efficiency. We need to see Caren Tiger, we need to see Horseman really stepping up and getting back into that consistent form that we've seen from them.
No, I think you're right. Meltdown maybe back into the fray as well because they've been showing up pretty good results recently, and it's great to see finally Meltdown answer back because they've been a little bit stagnant.
Yeah.
Not showing up, not putting up results, not giving us those entertaining games that we're used to seeing.
Yeah, definitely. I think Meltdown, again, is another one that we're going to need to watch out for. And incidentally, they are actually playing next.
Look, that's it. If you want to watch Meltdown play next, then won't have to go too far. But they have their work cut out for them. They're going to be up against EL Gaming. So if you want to see that game, stick around. We'll be back in 10 minutes. Don't go anywhere.